Hey everybody, it's me, Mike D57S. Now, I hope you've been enjoying, Thomas's Railway Retrospective, my summer YouTube series, and, I'm having a good summer so far, but at the same time, I'm also here to talk about a new model that I just got, a few days ago, actually, and that is Bachmann Duck, and just depending on, what day I might upload this video. Alright, so yeah, bottom line, I finally got him, Bachmann Duck, and all I could say is, holy crap. Look at this guy. Look at him. I mean, seriously, he looks exactly like the character of Duck in the show. Sorry about my camera. Alright, let me just put this down for a second. I'll just put it right there. I'll just put him up a little close. Yeah, I'm just going to just put him right here. Alright, look at this model. He looks exactly like the character who we've known for a very long time, who actually never appeared in a very long time, sadly. Yeah, because we all know this is what made Duck very famous, for the fact that we never really saw him, for, ever since 2004 when, Hit started to take over. Well, actually they did take over when Season 6 came about, but I'll bring that up in my Season 6 and 7 reviews. When they took over, mostly in 2004, and Duck, along with some other characters like Donald, Douglas, Oliver, Boko, Bill, Ben, and some other major characters have never been seen for so many years. But now you're going to be asking me, and of course this also would tie in, I'm just going to bring him here, this also would kind of tie in, this year with, the fact that we saw Duck in the TV series. Yeah, like we actually see him in the later CGI series, of course, in the episode Henry's Hero. And you guys would probably be asking me, what is my opinion about that? What was my reaction to finally seeing Duck after a very long time? Well, since I actually have the model of Duck, and since the fact I agree with what MallardFan62 said, that 2013 has been a good year for Duck, so I think I have enough time to talk about it. I was blown away. I mean, actually, here's how I'll start off from the very beginning. I mean, literally. When the announcement for the episode came out on the Thomas Wiki, and hearing that Duck was going to be in this episode, I was blown away. Like, I was shocked to hear that Duck was going to, be in this. But just from, the early start when I saw his picture in the CGI series, his CGI picture, I was shocked, seeing that that was actually Duck, and that he was going to return in the series. Yeah, I just really couldn't believe it. It wasn't photoshopped. It was the real thing, that Duck was really coming back to the series. And when the announcement for Henry's Hero came out, and I was shocked, and I know this is kind of a spoiler for my Season 17 review later on, but, oh well, I was shocked to hear that Duck was actually going to return to this series. Like, when Duck actually came back, I was blown away. And I agree with what MallardFan62 said. His CGI counterpart looks exactly like his actual prototype, the GWR 57XX Pannier Tank 060 tank engine. Yep, he looks exactly like that. And the Bachmann model actually kind of captures that too, of a real Pannier tank engine. Yeah, like... And the voice that they gave Duck by Stephen Kyman, who also did Peter, Sam, and Paxton, and later Dart, he did also a very good job, because that is the kind of voice I know I would expect from Duck when it's like, oh dear, seems like you two fellas are taking on some of the bad coal that arrived today. Yep, that, and also, he hasn't changed at all. Like, one is that he still has his whistle. Yeah, like, we still hear that Duck has the same whistle from the old series. Yeah, that's also cool. But also, he hasn't changed. Yeah, like, he's still in character. Like, he's still, the busy and cheerful and very enthusiastic and always cares about his work, that stuff. Now, you all know my opinion of the actual character, but you're going to have to, watch my Season 2 review and if you want to know my opinion of Duck the Great Western Engine. But anyways, let's not get away from the point. Let's review the actual model. Now, I have been waiting for this model for so many years. For 5 years, actually. Like, which is, after, his last appearance in Season 12. Yeah, like, look at Duck. Look at him. He looks awesome. Like, he looks exactly like the character. I am so glad, and it just shows us how Bachmann cares about its nostalgic Thomas fans, which, back in 2010 where they made Bill and Ben, and in 2011 where they made Donald and Douglas. But now, they made Duck, and I heard that they're making Ari and Bert, and I'm okay with that, even though I still wish they would make Oliver, and I just hope they also make him as well. Because they made Donald and Douglas, but they weren't released yet, but Diesel was announced at the same time, so yeah, who knows, maybe Oliver might get announced at the same time with them, and so is along with Toad or Boko. But let's not get away from the point here. Now, Duck looks awesome. Oh, sorry, it's the chair I'm sitting on. He looks exactly like the character that we all know to love. Except, well, before I gotta bring this up now, it has also been a while since Bachmann had made one of the green engines. We got Henry and we got Percy, but now we got Duck, yeah. The shade of green that they use for him is beautiful. And what do I think of the Hornby Duck? All I could say about the Hornby Duck is, it's really just, it's okay, actually, now that I think about it. Only because, back in those days, the Hornby Duck was the only model of duck we could only get at the time. But now, of course, I know he's been discontinued, and we'll never get him again. But even so, I don't even want to buy the Hornby Duck, because it doesn't look exactly like the character Duck, almost. Although Hornby does do a good job with Oliver, Stepney, Murdoch, that bowed out Diesel, even though that really was a Class 37 that they used for him, and yeah, and Hornby, they're okay, even though that they, paint them off of the actual prototype of the Thomas characters. But right now, Duck looks amazing, but even though he does, there, of course, are not problems, but just nitpicks. One, of course, is what every Thomas fan, of course, really just dislikes is his buffers, which, of course, are in the wrong color. Like, of course, this area has to be red and the rest black. Like, I didn't know why Bachmann did that, because they actually managed to change, the rest of the stuff around Duck. Like, they changed the footplate white, yeah, which in the original prototype picture it's black, and I've seen Sodoradventures review, and yeah, like, he had a point, like, that was, like, he was right, like, that was, the production model that he was reviewing, yeah. What he was reviewing was the production model, and I'm just glad, they changed it, but it doesn't make sense of why they couldn't change the rest of the color on his buffers. Yeah, but nonetheless, his coupling hook looks good, and now that we're at the front, and I'll talk about it right now, let's get to the face. Look at that face. Look at that face. It looks exactly like it was from the classic series, and in my opinion, it looks more Season 3-ish. Yeah, it looks like one of those faces you would see in, like, oh, sorry, it's just I was fooling around with this little track here. Yeah, like, this looks exactly like a face I would think in Season 3, and I know ShuntingSteve, I've seen his review where it said that this was in, damn chair, looks like it was in Season 6 or 7, but in my opinion, it kinda doesn't, but, oh well. Like, what he did point out, though, like, is that his eyes also have these little notches, like, in his pupils. So yeah, like, we never had that with any of the Thomas models. Yeah, that's new. Like, that's entirely, like, that's something we've never seen before. Yeah, like, and that's really amazing. And I even love the way that they painted his eyebrows in this triangular up shape. Yeah, like, his front looks nice, and I got these, like how they got these little molds out here, and his handrails have been painted on, has been molded beautifully. Though I still wish the buffers were, had the red section in the middle. And I'm just glad that they at least changed the white, his footplate white. And now I'm also glad they even changed the top of his like cone-shaped dome, which I think that's his safety valve. I'm gonna assume it's his safety valve, but if you guys know what it is, please let me know in the comments below. Yeah, so other things I gotta talk about Duck are the step ladder right here. Wow, look at the step ladder. Like, I even love how this was molded on the horn, like on the Bachmann Duck. The Hornby Duck did a good job, but And, of course, I gotta say this right now, he's very light, because lately the Bachmann engines we've been getting are completely heavy, but he's very light, just like Thomas or Percy James and stuff. Yeah, and looks like Sodoradventures, yeah, I've seen Sodoradventures review, like, he really had a point about that. But nonetheless, oh, excuse me. But nonetheless, the rest of his model is amazing. Like, and another nitpick I would have along with the buffers are his wheels. It's just, oh, sorry, let me just get them. His wheels are just way too, small. Like, they're like the size of, like, a Ritz cracker, if you know what I mean. Like, if you've ever had, those little Ritz crackers and, like, and if you compare them to the Bachmann Duck's wheels, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, sure, Bill and Ben kind of has small wheels, but that's because they're small engines. But Duck is this really big tank engine, yeah. I love his side rods, though, and plus, like, Sodoradventures also mentioned that they had the same chassis design as Donald and Douglas, and I'll show you what I mean here. Let me just get Donald or Douglas for a second. Alright, here I am, guys. Here I got an example. I'm gonna use Donald as an example, yeah. Alright, here's Donald, and here's Duck. Though their chassis design may be the same, Donald's wheels are way too big, yeah, but that's alright. But, however, Duck is a teensy bit smaller. Like the Ritz Cracker wheels. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call them. Ritz Cracker, yeah. But nonetheless, like Donald and Douglas, I even love, how they got, these sections here, split. Yeah, and the same with Duck. Yeah, I'm just going to use my fingers. Yeah, I actually like how they got that, the separation in his wheels. Like I said, the step ladder looks nice. And here are the step ladders for his cab. But why did they draw a door there? No, well, you don't really focus in on that much. They got the handrails right. They're also painted beautifully right on his cab. And then we got his famous number 8. Look at that number 8. It looks exactly accurate. And hold on for a second. I'm just going to put Donald back for a sec. Alright, I'm back. I just had to put Donald back and stuff. Alright, so yeah. His number 8 is just so realistic. And the same with his his Great Western Railway logo. Yeah, his Great Western Railway logo is also painted on beautifully. Like the G, the W, the R, the white lettering and the red border around it. It's printed on beautifully, as well as known as number 8. But is it me, or do I kind of think that they could scratch off a bit? Oh well, if they could, let's be careful and not get our nails to it. And here's the back. The couplings even on the other side also are painted beautifully. A red pad with a black hook. And you could even see, if you could, I just don't know if the camera's focusing on this, sorry. They even got the rivets molded on there. And yeah, they got this, back, edge of his foot plate over there. And the Colo it's molded beautifully. And unlike the Hornby one, the Bachmann Duck's cab is short and squat, but it's alright. But that's the way Duck was in the actual television series. And unlike the Hornby Duck, again, you don't see the motor because it's all molded in. Because you remember in the Hornby Duck, if you have it, is that it really, sorry. Alright, here it is. Now, you guys remember on the Hornby Duck that it really, fails, to capture that, because you could see the motor inside the Hornby Duck's one. And that's the reason why I wouldn't really buy the Hornby Duck that much. But all the same, the cab is molded beautifully, but just like unlike the Hornby Duck, they even painted, the side of his running board the right color, which is black, because you guys remember on the original Hornby Duck that it was bright gray, and I just didn't know why Bachmann, could have at least painted it. Because Hornby Duck was made all the way back in the 1980s, so yeah, you can understand that. Now let's get to the very top. Now, here's another nitpick I kind of have. His whistle. Don't get me wrong. It's the right shape, but didn't Duck have 2 whistles? didn't understand why they couldn't mold, like, a second whistle on the duck. Yeah, like, it doesn't make any sense that way. But you know what, maybe I think, and I'm really sure, maybe they just didn't really pay attention to it that much. And yeah, that could be a point. It could be. So yeah, that's Duck's whistle. His safety valve, I think that's a safety valve, looks nice. And love how his pannier is. And the caps are molded on beautifully, as well as his steam dome. Something that also doesn't want to make me buy the Hornby Duck is, compared to the Bachmann Duck, is the funnel. Look at his stack. His funnel looks exactly accurate. It's tall. It's even taller than his cap, but that is just the point. That's just the way we like it. I'm glad it is. I just love the size of his funnel and how it's shaped, and how it's not standing on a black pad like the Hornby one. Like, that's why I didn't like the Hornby one all that much. But aside from that, like, we even got on Duck, of course, are his sandboxes, which, I think this green one over here with this cap on it is a sandbox, but this black one is obviously a sandbox and stuff. Yeah, they also were molded beautifully and are in the right color, and his wheel arches look nice. I love how these are thin, and this is, for some strange reason, this big boxy kind of one, like, yeah, so I don't really know what else to say about Duck. That pretty much wraps up, the review. So yeah, that's Bachmann Duck, and all I could say is that he looks awesome and very accurate to the actual character. In fact, I actually, recreated my sheds, with the second siding. That way I could, fit a space for him, the 8 famous engines. So if you're for all you grandparents, so to all you, old people out there who have, grandkids who love trains, but also in general love Thomas the Tank Engine, and whose favorite character might be Duck, which is kind of rare because I don't think the modern audience knows Duck. Probably if they saw, Henry's Harrow maybe. Then, and by all means, you gotta just buy this model for him. He looks awesome, and I think he was $60 and stuff at my local hobby shop. But I mean oh sorry, it's the chair again. This is the best merchandise I've ever seen at Duck, and I also agree with what my friend MallardFan62 said. Yeah, he's right. 2013 has been a really good year for Duck. Like, it has been probably the best year, because not only for the fact that Bachmann has finally released their model of him this year, which they've actually done a couple of weeks ago, I think, and not only did they even, and not only did he make a new, just not getting my words out, and not only did he make an appearance back, again in the recent Season 17 series, which I will review later, and yeah, so, but it's also that Take and Play has actually made a new model of Duck. Yeah, like, they've re-released him in Take and Play, and I don't really collect take-alongs or Take and Plays, but all I can say is that they look really cool. And Duck, look at him. He looks awesome. Like, he looks exactly like the character Duck, but also like a 57X pannier. And all I could say is long live the Great Western Engine himself. And despite, the flaws he has, like the black buffers, or his small wheels, which look like the size of a Ritz cracker cookie, that is, and, the fact that he only has one whistle, which he should have two, this is an awesome model. And so it also means that I would have to give him 9.5 out of 10, just a 9.5. Yeah, so it's not because it's, 9.5, only because, yeah, it's still an almost perfect model, and it's way better than the Hornby model, and better than every other Hornby merchandise, that Duck, has ever been made from. But he still has, some nitpicks here and there, but oh well, there's nothing you can do about them. You can't always get what you want, now can you? Yep, so, yeah, that's my review on Bachmann Duck, and stay tuned for part 2 where I do his strength test. So yeah, like, and his speed test too, because trust me, even though he's light, he's kind of a strong engine, like he is in the show. Yeah, so if they ever re-release him, in other merchandise like Trackmaster or Wooden Railway, then I wouldn't really buy them, but I will be so glad because I don't really, buy them that much. So yeah, this is Mike D57S signing off, and we'll stay tuned for part 2.